But we're working this month with a theme of the practice of becoming. And this week in particular, vulnerability. The path of vulnerability. And when I heard that that was the subject, it's like, oh, isn't it interesting how so many different ways that we're being invited by our spiritual teachers, by our psychologists and psychiatrists, that it's really healthy to open up and be vulnerable. And then we look at the world that we're living in and think, oh my goodness, I better keep those walls up because look at all this crap that's coming at me. You know? I mean, trying to feel safe and saying, I'm going to be vulnerable. It's like, oh,
man,
it's a big ask. It's a big ask. But something we get to notice, and this makes it all worthwhile, is that all those walls that we've built to keep all that stuff and all these attacks that seem to be coming at us from so many directions, how we keep that at bay, these walls that we build, it's the ego that's building those walls. And something that happens when the ego builds a wall is that we wall ourselves in behind it and we wall out who we are. We wall ourselves off from that inner truth of this bigness, this allness, this enoughness, this power place of spirit living itself as us that is really the truth of who we are. When we're busy maintaining that wall, we're busy being in our ego and saying, I'm not going to be a victim, and I'm not going to let this get at me, and I'm going to be strong from this ego place. And it doesn't leave room for that way bigger than ego light within us to say, hey, I've got it handled. You can calm down. You don't need the walls. Two very different things going on there. And I'm not saying, okay, be vulnerable to the junk coming at us and lay down and be a doormat and say it's okay and, ooh, that one hurt, but I'm saying trust the bigness inside because it has bigger and better tools than our ego ever imagined for us.
It's good.
Blanca Mejia is the Mexican minister, Science Mind Centers for Spiritual Living minister, also has a lot of duties within home office, responsible in large part for the new translation into Spanish of our textbook.
That's dope, man. It's amazing.
Oh, man. So I'm in love with Blanca. And she's the author of this month's material. And she says, sometimes the greatest act of spiritual courage is to show up just as we are. Let us enter this sacred space where vulnerability is not weakness, but a bridge toward what is most real. One of the first things that came up for me in opening the door to what am I going to say this morning is it might be my absolute favorite verse of any Leonard Cohen song, which is saying a lot because I'm a big Leonard Cohen fan. But this is from his song, Anthem. And it's, so ring the bell that still can ring. Forget your sacred offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in.
Come on.
And I'm going to add to that and say not only the light gets in,
Good morning.
it's out. Because if that is all there is, and God is living itself as everything going on around us, but also the truth of who we are as unique, divine expressions of that one life, then we need to make that crack open up to let our light out. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in and gets out. I got to participate in a workshop. It was four afternoons on Zoom back near the beginning of the year that was on setting intentions for 2026. Hosted and facilitated by two of my favorite people. One, Reverend Michael Corkeru, whom I went through ministerial school with, and also another ministerial school buddy who is now my accountability partner once a month, woohoo, is Reverend Marilyn Sprague. And they put together this workshop and co-facilitated it. And it was called 2026, Your Year of Illumined Intentions, with the idea of not just setting intentions with our ego, but allowing that spiritual intention to bubble up. So the body of that workshop in all of its different weeks, hitting different areas of our lives, was the visioning process, which Reverend Sue Ellen, what we did with her this morning is a bit of that, of just making the space, not for our ego to figure it out, but for Spirit to inform us. What's going on? Who am I? What is mine to do?
Mm-hmm.
And two of the chief questions that are asked in the formal visioning process are, what do I need to release?
Mm-hmm.
And what do I need to embrace? And then, as Reverend Sue Ellen led us, just wait for an answer. Don't figure it out. Wait for an answer. Well, something I got, the big takeaway I got from that workshop, and I counted as a gift because it wasn't anything I didn't already know, but it kind of, come on, Lynn, notice this, was I have this habit of second-guessing myself. Anybody else?
Come on.
I don't think so.
I handle a situation, I make a proposal, or I go on a job interview, or I have a difficult conversation, and I come out of that conversation thinking I did that just fine. And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up going, did I mess it up? Should I have said this? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Oh my goodness. Yagada. And visioning in the Illumined Intention workshop, it's like, Lynn, you need to let that one go.
Mm-hmm.
You need to let that one go, and then the thing you need to embrace is that space within you that knows itself, that knows its bigness, that knows that Lynn is a divine individuation of one life, one love, one wisdom, one power, one presence, right here. And if I really trust that, the act of standing in that is going to resonate outward and inspire the folks around me to notice their own bigness and stand in their own best selves. And all of us will know we're right where we need to be. And we're, if you have the conversation and then say, I need to readdress that, I'm coming back to it, don't do it out of guilt, or don't do it out of shoulda, woulda, coulda. Do it out of, I got something to add to that now, because I've been paying attention and something more has come in, and I want to share this with you. What do you think? What if we trusted that great, big, divine inner self? What if? And when we do that, that's our light shining. That's opening that crack wider so the light can shine. Instead of safe behind the wall of shoulda, woulda, coulda, and my ego is going to help me figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the tool I have used at 3 in the morning for years now, and it works. I roll over, I go back to sleep. is the surrender meditation, surrender mantra from Diane Harmony's 5 Gifts for an Abundant Life. And yeah, vulnerability and surrender. Surrender's another kind of dicey word. What do we want to do with that word? But what if surrender isn't defeat and isn't victim? What if surrender is surrendering to my bigger self?
Come on.
Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
What if it's a surrender to something that is so much sweeter than all of the games that I've been playing? Okay?
Yeah.
So my surrender mantra, as I say, this is from Reverend Diane Harmony. And this is a slide, and live with it. Oh, embody this one. I surrender to the power and presence of God within me. I say that 2, 3, 4, 10 times at 3 in the morning. And every story I've been telling myself just gets quiet. This starts running, and I go back to sleep. Try this aloud with me. I want to hear you all.
I surrender to the power and presence of God within me.
Let's do it again.
I surrender to the power and presence of God within me.
There's a surrender that's useful. There's a surrender with all the power of being our best selves starting to shine through that crack we've just widened. More on surrender from Reverend Blanca. Surrender is not defeat, it is release. Every time we let go, something essential is revealed. We release resistance to the highest good that is ready to emerge. And she points out that this is why and how release as the last step of our 5-step spiritual mind treatment, our form of affirmative prayer, why that's about release. It's releasing our need to tell Spirit how to do it. It's releasing our need to wonder if Spirit heard the prayer that we just put into place. It's saying, okay, I got my consciousness to the place where I know this is true. I'm going to let it go and let the law do what it does. And when I say law, capital L law, that is that aspect of God, that aspect of Spirit that says, yes, you're thinking this. Thought is power, thought is creative, so it's being created now because you have planted the seed. But that only works when we release it to let it do what it does. More from Reverend Blanca. Healing is revealed when we allow room for vulnerability, when we surrender, set aside the ego, and stop trying to control. We let go of the lesser, that wall, that ego, to know the greater, that infinite, is expressing in our lives. And you know what happens when we get with this, when we start letting it run the show? And it takes practice. It takes reminding ourselves. All of us, this isn't something that one morning we wake up and we've got it nailed. You keep doing the work. But as you keep doing the work, and as this becomes more natural, more the place that feels good to live from all the time, the more time we spend in that space, the more opportunities we have to notice that Spirit is running the show and doing a good job of it. And miracles are showing up. There's I love the little ones as much as the big ones because it's Spirit going, see, Lynn, it's okay. I'm taking care of things. And miracle, just as an example, this only happened a few weeks ago, and I've been telling it to everybody I know. So if you've already heard this, my apologies. But, okay. long story. I can never tell a short story. Those of you who've been to my home know I have a little dog. Her name is Missy. She's 6 pounds of living terror. Okay. Fortunately, I got a dog door. I got a big yard with a good fence. So Missy can pretty much have her own entertainment. I can get lazy and not take her on walks on a leash. But some parts of that fence are old, and some have been reworked, and some haven't so much. And one day I looked out the window, and well, Missy started barking from inside the house, and it's because there's a great big dog in the backyard. How the heck can you get in? And I did my usual, which always works, of you speak loudly and clearly to the strange dog and say, "Go home." And they go, oh, they cock their head and they say, "Oh, what a good idea." And I go, this works for strays on the street, too. You don't have to worry about them. You just tell them to go home, okay? Anyway, I say, "Go home," and I watch him, and he finds the place he came in through. Turns out it was up high. A couple of boards had gone like this. He jumps, and he gets almost stuck and clambers and gets through and gets gone and goes home. And I realized, okay, I'm all right because Missy can't get up to that. All right, we won't think about that. Until a couple weeks later, Tuesday evening, I'm on my prayer call, my weekly phone call with the prayer partner in Santa Fe, who's been my buddy for, well, I've known her for 30 years. She's been my prayer partner for over 20. And I'm sitting in my living room on the phone, when the whole room turns pink, peachy pink. Ooh, and I realize it's because there's a sunset going on, that the light is just bleeding right through the whole house and turning the room pink. And, wow, okay, I could sit in this pink room, or I could go up to the window and see the sky, because I bet it's doing something amazing. So I get up, still on the phone, I go to my front window, pink, peachy pink sky, gorgeous, gorgeous, bright, shining, peachy pink sky. And then I see a little animal out in the road, and it's Missy. Oh, damn. Open the front door, holler, I'm still on the phone. "Excuse me, Katie, hang on. Missy!" She jumps up, sees me, comes running, doesn't run to me, she runs to the hole in the fence and then in through the dog door and into the living room going, "See how good I am?"
Right.
Now, do you see the miracle in that? I mean, first of all, yes, I'm a bad person. I didn't fix the fence immediately. But instead of woulda, coulda, shoulda, I gave Spirit an opportunity to give me a gift I wouldn't have gotten had I just fixed it. And by the way, I did fix the fence the minute I got off my call. But divine, perfect timing. The invitation, the room lighting up to lead me to the window, to lead me to see Missy in the street before she turned into a pancake, because it's a busy street, or before she continued her adventure and wandered out of sight and I didn't even notice she was gone until she was too far gone for me to find her. All of that was Spirit's gift to me that day. And all of it was perfectly orchestrated. And I am here to tell you that that kind of stuff is going on in your lives all the time. All the time. And it's our job to notice, to pay attention, to step into it when we get the invitation, and to be grateful. That's a big part of it too. Our job is to be grateful. And all of that happened through that crack, right? There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. So, yes, vulnerability. Be vulnerable to your own bigger, powerful, beautiful, love, wisdom, self. Be open to the guidance that tugs on your sleeve and says, do this right now, and say yes. Live it, trust it, and everything necessary for a good life. The eternal givingness of God pours through us, into our lives, into everything around us, because we let it, because we choose, because we're vulnerable. So let's take that into prayer. Oh. Breathing into that space within me that absolutely knows there's only one life. One infinite presence, one infinite power, one infinite givingness we call God, or Spirit, or Source, or any name you want to give it. It does not care what we call it. And knowing if it is all there is, and yes, it is all there is, then all that is means all I am. All each of us are. Because infinite means no wall, no edge, no other. The truth of that one life is my truth, our truth, every individual's truth right now. And so standing in that truth, I speak my word, and I speak it in first person because I'm talking to myself. Take it as yours if it feels good for you. I speak my word right now for my alignment with that larger truth. More and more clearly, more and more consistently, more and more consciously, in every day, in every moment, in every breath, I choose to remember the truth. And I know and claim that situations in my life that look difficult, that look scritchy, smooth and ease and reconcile themselves when that light of God, that light of love shines on them. And I trust that. I trust the power of Spirit being itself, doing its work through me, for me, and as me. I speak my word for that trust. I speak my word for that choice to say yes. I speak my word in gratitude for the good that shows up in my life because I make this claim. I speak this word. I make this choice. And in gratitude for how good that feels right now as I say it, in gratitude for what shows up in my experience because I have planted this in the law, in that gratitude, I let it go and I let it be. And together we say,
and so it is.